The water report for this zip code right here. We're gonna go in Brownsville Public Utilities Board. There's a total of 15 contaminants that are over the health guideline from the Environmental Working Group, out of a total of 31 contaminants found in the tap water, right? That's recycled here. Now, while the Rio Grande generally has some of the hardest water in Texas, we focus in Rio Grande, there are a lot of different, obviously, contaminants and hardness to water that varies from state to state here in the United States. And one of the main things that we're dealing with down here is the levels of arsenic. Look at that, 250 times over the health guideline. The potential effect therein being cancer, obviously. A lot of acids, radical acids that are found also with the same potential effects. You see that one right there. There's radical bromoform in there. And we can also find in chloride. A lot of the problems that I've come across with people, a lot of thyroid issues here in the Rio Grande particularly. Chloride obviously changes blood chemistry and could be related to that. A lot of chloroform is found too. Now, one thing that we need to understand is if there's a lot of issues with the tap water, that's because our water is recycled. 90-something% of our tap water is recycled in the municipal space. And what ends up happening is things end up getting concentrated over time, resulting in these kind of things, right? It's not like we're getting completely filtered water that's purified through reverse osmosis in the entire tap water system. But that's okay. It's just that it's to the point where all these levels are starting to get really, really high. A lot of aluminum is found in the water too. A bunch of other things. Now, aside from this, if you go to the bottom of the EWG tap water database, you put your zip code, you go through it, you'll see right here there's a chart that's automatically put together. Yep. That shows how to get rid of all these contaminants that are lawfully allowed in our tap water. As you see, activated carbon. That's what we have right here. This is activated carbon done from renewable source of coconut shell. The coconut industry, we carbonize the coconut shells, make carbon out of it, and we use them for our systems, right? We use the Maytag systems right now. And then the ion exchange right here, you can't really see it because it's a little foggy, the actual plastic. There's resins in here, high capacity ionic exchange resins. These are resins that last 15 to 20 years here in this geographic area. And what that does, that gets rid of the arsenic, all the intense hardness in the water, magnesium, calcium, etc. And then in the middle, reverse osmosis, much like this unit right here, completely wipes the water's memory, okay? This doesn't have the remineralization that we work with. We typically work with the alkaline systems that gets coupled the whole house treatment system. But forget about that. Let's focus on the reality of the tap water. How about we, yeah? Sure. Okay, fellow water nerds. First thing we're going to do is we're going to see the visualization of the general hardness in the water. We're going to compare pure filtered water that's gone through the purification system that we have. This is just a simple two-stage. And then we're going to compare that to the tap water. We're going to be working with two agents right here. These are called precipitation agents, 1 and 2. I'm going to do 15 drops of agent number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then the other agent we're going to be working with is agent number 2. I'm going to do 10 drops of this. This is going to kickstart that reaction. And what we're looking for is precipitation. We're going to separate and settle all the dissolved solids that's within the water so we visually see what's going on, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to outright invigorate them. I'm just simply going to stir it. Stir one time. Then boom, we have some clarification right there, right? Guess we could presume what sample that is. And then one stir here. Would you look at that, guys? So right off the bat, I know we have a lot of sunlight right here, but if you notice, sample on our left side right here is clouding up considerably, much more than sample be on this side, right? Now we're gonna wait for this to completely precipitate, which is to separate and to settle. So we're gonna go ahead and check out the general hardness in grains per gallon. I'll go ahead and explain all that right now. Let's separate this right now. And then let's get right into that.
So this is what you would do in someone's home, right? Is it?
That's exactly right. This is the same process that we do in homes to see what's going on, because a lot of the homes that we test are brand new homes. And the brand new homes, you can't see this buildup just yet. So people want to know exactly what they're going to be dealing with if they don't do something about it. Cool. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
Sure.
So here is the filtered sample. It's about 5 mils of water at the 1 GPG line. And then we're going to do the hard sample right here. As a matter of fact, let's switch them. I like having the clean water on the right side. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do 5 drops.
So this is going to tell people how hard their water is, kind of like how much rock is going through their system, right?
What we're going to calculate exactly are the amount of grains of dissolved rock per gallon.
It's kind of similar to parts per million.
Very similar. You multiply it by 17 and you get the ppms.
And that would, if you live in a really pristine area, how many parts per million would that be?
In a pristine area, you're going to be seeing definitely less than 100.
Okay, cool.
There's only been 2 instances where I've seen that in the Rio Grande area. That was a pocket north of San Benito called Rio Hondo. For some reason, it was very soft water, and they didn't have a treatment system, so it was it was very abnormal, right? And then in West Edinburgh, Texas, there was an area that has very soft water for some reason. So
okay, so I'm already starting to see a little cloudiness on the left there. So this is kind of the tap water there, and I guess this is the filtered water.
That's exactly right.
So, and we'll look into that a little bit more.
Wow.
But if they want to find out more information, they can go to the description and kind of what kind of questions would be in there.
Yeah. So frequently asked questions is what is the effect of having hard water? Like, what will it do? We'll go ahead and we'll calculate it for this instance with this tap water sample. We'll see what it would potentially cost living in this area. So the kind of damages that the water heaters would go through, the water bearing appliances, maybe your health, stuff like that. Those are things we'll break down. However, the most important thing is seeing if there's even a water problem here in this particular sample, because there's no need to look into any filtration if we don't see a clear problem.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. What kind of areas do you cover?
The areas that we do cover right now, we have installers for our Maytag systems in San Antonio, Texas, in Houston. We could work in Austin too. I know there's Austin's the hub of a lot of people that are forward thinking. So, we could make our way up there from the San Antonio warehouse. We would factor in the expense of taking that trip, right? But we'll make it happen. So, San Antonio, all of the Rio Grande Valley. That's our normal area that we cover. Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth area. We could even do some areas of New Mexico. However, I got to double check that with our team. And El Paso, that's where our installers originate from, El Paso, Texas. So yeah, we've been able to kind of get all of the perimeter of Texas and in the center of Texas too by now.
So it sounds like where SpaceX is in South Texas, and then maybe McAllen, and then there you have partner relationships with other Maytag people. You could maybe.
Yes, our install crew, they've been able to scale it so quickly to be able to kind of clone the process that we do down here in El Paso. That's why we're able to do outreach to Houston, San Antonio, and we can travel wherever. If you all already know that you're interested in something, these filtration units that we have, they are lifetime warranty with access to the official installer whenever you need any service and whatnot. But since we work with the high capacity ionic exchange resins, you don't need new resins every other year like some of the cheaper units, right? These resins right here, they last you 15 to 20 years. You get me?
Gotcha.
So it's more of an upfront thing. We agree on what we could get you approved on, get you taken care of, etc. Okay, so now we're gonna check the general hardness in grains per gallon. The tap water versus purified water. Okay? So I'm gonna do 5 drops of this blue agent. This is the hardness indicator buffer solution. Ooh, look at that. Let it be. 5 drops of this per sample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna swirl it around. And in most drinking water systems, it takes 0 to 1 drops of the neutralizer, which is what this is, to get it back to blue. Blue lets us know that that amount of drops that's been taken, it gives us the grain per gallon reading. Okay, so obviously 1 drop on this one is going to give us that, meaning that it is drinking water. It's bottled water.
Awesome.
Incredible, right? So
Yep.
that's 0 to 1 grains per gallon.
So that's the clean water, right?
That's a clean water.
And
That's
that-
probably like 20, less than 17 ppms.
That's from the filter, or where?
That's from the filter, yes.
All right, great.
Right? So that means that the hardness has gone rid of, and there's just the slightest amount of trace minerality
So
left.
kind of saying something like that.
Yes,
right? Okay.
that's exactly right.
Okay, we'll just keep it there for now.
Now, right here, this is going to be the elephant in the room. We're going to check the general hardness of the tap water sample. If you have less than 3 grains per gallon in your tap water, then that means you have soft water, and you should focus on cleaning up other things in it, potentially, meaning like carbon filtration, stuff like that, right? To get rid of the chlorine, chloramine, other things in the water. So I'm going to do 1 drop here. 1. Obviously, we don't have bottled water here, right?
So this is Rio
2.
Grande Valley or South Texas water?
Yes.
Just the public water. No
Public
filtration.
water, yeah, that's exactly right. They do filter a good amount of things in the water. However, there's still a lot of radical stuff in the water, from irrigation, from people flushing their birth control, or even just urinating. Hormonal stuff too stays in the water. There's a lot of estrogen in the water. So we're at 3. Let's see where we're at. 4, 5, 6. If we're at 7, we're clearly at hard water, which we might be above 7. Oof. 8, 9, 10, 11. 10.5 is the average for the Rio Grande Valley, and we're already over that. 11, 12.
So at this point, we can safely go like this. This is the Rio Grande Valley water, and this is the cleaner water.
13, 14, 15. Look at that. 16, 17, 18, 19. We might be at 19 GPGs. Look at that. 19 grains per gallon. That's actually the reading we got yesterday when we were doing some training here.
Yep.
So this is what 19 grains per gallon looks like. My fellow water nerds, are you ready for this? I'm going to go ahead and slightly agitate it. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Now imagine this. This is just 7.5 ounces of water, a little less than a cup, right? The vessel is a cup. Compared to this, it's just the tiniest traces of minerality in here. Tiniest. It's 1 gram per gallon compared to 19. This is 19 times harder than the ideal drinking water. What do you all feel are the effects of living with this?
It's tough. You know, I just had to clean out my the shower.
Shower head, right?
Yep, it clogged up. For some reason, it wasn't letting the water through. And, you know, one of the people here has, like, some kidney issues, so I don't know if that has any health effects and stuff.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So how did you clean the shower head?
We just got a new one, bought a new one.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I hear that a lot, actually. Usually after a couple, maybe 3 years of living with hard water in a brand new build, that's when, you know, homeowners have to change out some of the water fixtures, right? Because that's how bad the water here is. But you know what? I would say water is pretty sketchy. Municipal water is pretty sketchy in a lot of areas, you know, especially the areas that I've tested here in the Rio Grande and San Antonio. I have done the work in the San Antonio area too, right? So this is municipal water, guys. So imagine this: if this was a brand new move-in house, let's say that this warehouse was a house, this would be already how the water heater looked if it was a traditional boiler. Now imagine the years of this kicking on, oxidizing, and just really affecting the water-bearing appliances. I mean, it's really a messy situation because a lot of us think if something's not going to affect us right now, then nothing's going to happen. Here in the Valley, we say no pasa nada. It's a scapegoat reaction that we do, saying, nah, nothing's going to happen, right? And we don't want to focus on the future. with water quality, if you take care of it with water treatment system, what ends up happening, you're not looking for a return on investment. You're looking for the cost of inactivity, the COI. The cost of inactivity is what you're going to be paying in damages to your health and to your bodies, and paying drinking water with microplastics and all that stuff. In turn, or excuse me, instead of just seeking services at a reasonable price and monthly, right?
What kind of rate does this go? Do you want to say any prices, or the service department? Like what
the service department, yeah. So obviously, if it's more of a risk for our finance department to approve someone, the cost might go a little higher, right? But typically, you're seeing around like $99 a month for that until it's paid off. Open-ended agreements, and no installation costs, no charge for the plumbing and whatnot. Even if we have to put a little shed around the unit, that's something that we take care of. We put craftsman sheds for the outside installations to make sure that the actual hardware isn't damaged from any of the salinity of the elements, being in the coastal areas here. And so that no one steals it too. You can put a lock on that. I've heard in some terrible cases where people get their freaking water filter stolen. Now people are catching on to the importance of them, right? That's hilarious. But yeah, man. So I do want to continue with this too, and we'll go over that again. So another sample that we have here is we have a tap sample to see the chlorine levels here. Chlorine is important in chlorine is important for municipal water because the bacteria and viruses can get us sick in the short term. However, there's so much in the water these days that disinfection byproducts are formed, and it's to the point where the chlorine is burning our eyes and staining our clothes. In a lot of cases, it tends to be very comparable to pool water, and which is pretty crazy, What we're going to do is we're going to put 5 drops of this chlorine agent. This is a pool testing kit, by the way. I get these at Leslie Pool Supply. I'm going to do 5 drops in here. We're going to let that react. We'll see what's going on here.
These are things they can buy on like Amazon, right? The pool testing kit. So maybe eventually we'll sell them here too. They could just buy a kit and test their own water at home, and then if it's bad, then they could
give us a call.
Yeah,
give us a call, and we can see what we could improve you guys at.
But check the description of this video. We can have some links there where you can follow up with us.
Yeah, we'll have some links there. You can schedule a call and we get any questions answered that you may have. Right. Once again, we do take care of all the Rio Grande Valley. We take care of San Antonio. We can take care of Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth area, El Paso. We could get you guys, we work remotely as well, and our installers are in all the set areas. That's where we have our warehouses, and we have a crew. They're ready to install 3 units per day too. So
a lot of people maybe just bought a house, right? And is that like the better time to do it, or and why would that be?
Excellent question. So with whole home water filtration, this is just a mini testing version. The whole home water filtration is more, 5 foot tall unit. I'll show you guys in a bit. The idea is that you install this before the boiler or the water heater, whatever you want to call it, and it transforms all the water into soft water, treated water, without excessive chlorine and with very, very low ppms. I live with one. I've been living with one for almost 3.5 years now. Okay, and the idea is that it keeps your real estate investment brand new indefinitely, as long as that's being serviced and whatnot, which obviously we're very good with because it is Maytag. We've only been around 131 years, right? We basically invented door-to-door and service for all appliances, so that's why we love working with Maytag. As a representative, I shamelessly say that. So the stats show that 1 in 2 Americans in the continental U.S. get a treatment system in their first year of the new home build. 1 in 2. And guess what? The 50% that get it are the smarter people, right? They're the smarter people because they want to keep their home brand new. The equity, whenever you get a treatment system, the equity the system gets included into the equity. So if you want to move it, sell it, whatnot, that directly goes into the factoring of it. So it's not like you're getting it just because you want your skin to feel good. It's everything, all the, you know, the logic behind it just makes so much sense. And you can safely drink from any spout in the house too, the sinks, cook with it, whatnot. Cool. We do work with alkaline systems too. I'll go over that a little later. But if you check out this sample right here, check out the chlorine levels in this. Let me put a white background. Look at that. It's at the 5.
Yeah, that's very yellow. Wow.
That's pool water.
Yeah.
We have pool water here in this municipality. Look at that. That's pool water.
So that's just a public water.
It's public water here.
Very acidic. Is that what you're saying? Oh,
no,
chlorine?
I'm not saying that that's acidic. That's chlorine that we're checking.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Now, what's the first thing that you all personally like doing when you get out of a swimming pool? Personally.
Yeah, you want to take a shower.
Kind of get all that chlorine off, but with what water?
Right, right.
Same water that you were swimming in, right? It makes no sense, right? So it's to the point where there's so much chlorine being put in by these municipalities that it's, you know, really ridiculous, causing a lot of skin dryness, a lot of dying of our clothes. You notice that they fade over time.
Yep.
It's from all these agents, all these cleaning agents that they put in there. So another thing I want to check is the pH right here. We're going to check the pH, not of the tap water, but of the drinking water. So through this one, this is the one, Paul, that you're personally drinking daily, okay?
Yep.
This is not an alkaline filter. This is simply a reverse osmosis. Now let's see what's going on here. I'm going to do the same thing. Add 5 drops of this pH reading, okay? This is R0014. Okay. I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to kind of slide it this way. Or maybe it is alkaline. Is it? You have an alkaline unit here?
Yeah, I looked at the brochure. It said that top unit thing was alkaline.
It is an alkaline unit.
I don't know why you're getting.
No, that's good. Look how high up.
Yeah.
Guys,
yeah.
I thought this was just an RO. Check it out. This is an alkaline unit.
Maybe as it sat on my shelf, it turned acidic.
Maybe it did because of the vessel it was in and whatnot. Yeah, look, so fresh from the tap, guys. This is fresh from this unit right here. If you look right here, this spout right here is connected to an alkaline unit. If you look down here, this is very comparable to what we work with. So this is an alkaline unit, right? So it gets it to total 0. Reverse osmosis completely wipes the memory of water. Water is crystalline structure and it retains memory of everything that it's been in contact with. With reverse osmosis, that wipes the memory clean. And then this is a clean slate to remineralize it and get it to the alkalinity that you want, which is as high as possible, right? From the looks of things here, oh yeah, and that's the reservoir right there, 2.5 gallon, the left one.
This is what we had installed originally, but this is not a whole house thing. It's just like a one spot. Just
a one spot thing here for the workshop, right? So if you notice right here, that color, it looks like it's around an 8.5, around an 8.0 actually. Okay. Look at that. Meaning that this is more on the alkaline side. However, what we work with, we calibrate it to a 9.5 pH. Okay. So it's just a darn near a 10. You guys sell just a tabletop thing, right? We do, yeah. We do work with people that want that. The financing, typically we get people approved at like $35 a month. I mean, cool. Since it's open-ended, you could just pay that within that year, right? Yeah. Now, this is pretty cool, man. That actually made my day. Yeah, me too. You are drinking alkaline water. Good. I had been ragging Paul, like, hey, we gotta check with what water you're drinking, man. I gotta make sure it's safe. So, cool. You have that peace of mind now. I do. When you gave me some of that water, I said, "Ooh, this is actually pretty smooth." So, cool. All right, man. So, now we found that alkaline water is ideal. We found out the general hardness. So, another thing we're gonna test is soap. So a lot of the expense that we have as humans is how much we spend on soaps. This is the clean water that's gone through the filter, the two-stage filter, the carbon and the resins, and then this is the tap water. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add 3 drops of this soap reagent, laboratory grade detergent, no aroma, and we're gonna see what happens here. They're 100 milliliters each. There's just a little unleveled patch right here. A lot of us are actually spending way too much on soaps because our hard water is not permitting it to function correctly. And we're gonna see that in real time, okay? So first off, I'm gonna add 3 drops of this laboratory grade detergent. Right here, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Check this out. This is the tap water sample. Look at how it got opal right here. Retain more of a clear color. What I'm gonna do is simply agitate the ideal water, which is clean filtered water. Look at that. With 3 drops of soap, listen, like a cloud. Look at that. Woo! Woo, buddy. When was the last time you saw that when you were washing dishes with 3 drops? Listen to this. All those metals, all the dissolved rock, millions of years of dissolved rock down here in the Rio Grande. Now without, I don't even know how to word this. What would you rather live with, man? This or that if you had the choice?
So both of these got the same amount of soap, huh?
Same amount of soap.
And the only difference is
the water.
That's it? Wow.
2 stages of filtration. Paul actually helped me. Carbon and resins, and we got that from that.
Cool. So what's the benefit of more bubbles?
So with more bubbles, so there's 2 active ingredients, right? There's the lye, there's the sodium stearate. If you don't see bubbles forming, those ingredients, they're not working for you, right? What ends up happening is a negative reaction, as we're seeing right here. Soap scum is these bubbles that are rupturing, and there's no binding. This right here, all of the stuff we don't want in our dishes, on our bodies, binds to the soap, right? The bubbles, and then it goes down the drain. Look how it doesn't stick to the glass. See, there's nothing that sticks. You notice right here, there's no murkiness and whatnot. It kind of just slides off because there's the water isn't binding to anything. The bubbles are able to grab any BS in there. So right here, we have all that scum already. Look at that. There's all that scum. Now, what do we do when we don't have bubble production, though?
You use more soap.
You use more soap.
Yeah, use more soap.
Remember, this is 3. Let's go in increments of 3. Let's get it to 9. So 3 times more soap. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Surely this is going to do the trick, right? More scum. Let's go. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Not there yet. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 7 times more soap. Surely, right? Kind of getting there. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Let's see. 29 and 30. 10 times more soap. Maybe we'll finally get there. Okay, finally. So 10 times more soap it takes to get something decent. But look at the bottom. Zoom in on that, Paul. Yep. Look how murky that is. There's no separation from the active ingredients working and clean filtered water because it's not clean. Look at the separation.
Yep.
Right? That's not from agitation. That's simply that the soap is doing its job. What would you all rather prefer, that or that?
Can you hold them both up? We can look at the bottom and everything.
Check out the bottoms. Look at how different that is.
Wow.
Look at the slush on the left side of all the scum under the soap bubbles. Isn't that insane? Now, if I were to leave this the whole day, I could come back after sundown or in the morning. That would still be there.
Wow.
that would still be there because this is true filtered pure water. Okay. Now, why does the city allow this, right? Why does the city allow us to do the bare minimum to purify water? Well, it simply needs to be safe enough for the short term, right? They do filter a lot, man. If you look into what they do filter a lot, and they filter a lot of the stuff that we put into the drainage that we shouldn't, right? Into the sewage. But it's your responsibility to take action to finish up cleaning the job that's already that they've already done, right? It's your job to be responsible. However, we're here to inform with what you can do, right? And that's why water filtration in the domestic sector is actually very important. It needs to be talked about more, right? And it's interesting how, Paul, you and I cross paths, because the journey that you all are on with Space Ocean, and the journey that Aquario is on with domestic filtration, and really just spreading awareness. We lead with the knowledge. That's why, we chose the pitcher of water in Aquario. That's Latin or Spanish for Aquarius. That's the knowledge bearer. We use just the way that everything ties in, man. We lead with knowledge. We're not here trying to sell something you don't need. We offer something and services for a lifetime to make sure that your family's health and your real estate investments are top tier for the rest of your lives. That's really what it is, bottom line, right?
So people spend, I don't know, $50 a week, a month on cleaning stuff, right?
Good question. So most families that I talk to that have like a kid, and it's a husband, wife, wife, whatever. Women tend to spend more money on products because they focus more on beauty, right? Us guys, we tend to be the tightwads that put the money into other expenses, right? But from what I've seen, it ranges from about 100 to 140, 150, depending on the special products that people will use. And for drinking water, most adults drink about $15 of bottled water monthly. However, I've seen it up to about $100 for cases for the entire household monthly.
So if they're spending $100 or even $50 on cleaning stuff, and then more on water, this unit could give them unlimited water and reduce their cleaning supplies.
That's exactly right. So let's just say it's $100 of cleaning supplies. We just saw right now that you're gonna need how many times? 10 times less. So
yeah, so
10, maybe $20 a month instead of $100 freaking dollars a month. It's gonna actually work. So think about this as detergent. You're gonna actually follow what the bottle says. Most people put more detergent because they want to get more soap production, obviously, because tap water doesn't work most of the time because of the hardness. But you can actually follow the directions. So the engineers that developed the formulas for Tide, Gain, all of the main detergent companies for cleaning products, they use purified water to get those numbers. Those numbers are only true if you have pure filter water, as you can see. You cannot just use half a cup for X load, Y load, It has to be purified water to get that result.
Wow.
Think about that, right? Because they're assuming that you're responsible enough to clean the rest of the quality of your water up with a whole treatment system. Fascinating stuff, it really is. I don't know why we weren't taught this in grade school, but you're learning it now. You're learning it now. Me, that I'm a fellow nerd too, I didn't even know about the importance of water filtration till about 4 years ago. And that's why I've been living with a unit for 3.5 years, cured my eczema, cured my dandruff. The showers are beautiful, have alkaline water at the tap indefinitely. And Paul, you're asking how much water can we get from here, right? So we can get 2.5 gallons every 30 minutes. 2.5 gallons of alkaline water. That's 5 gallons or a 5-gallon jug hourly.
So, and that's just in the kitchen, right?
And that's just in the kitchen.
And there's something for the whole house too.
Yes.
And that's unlimited, maybe, or something like that.
That it doesn't run out because there's no pump, there's no reservoir. It just goes with the natural water pressure. And the only time check it out. It's actually an ecosystem. The only time that it kickstarts a pump or something is just for it to clean itself every other week, which it's calibrated by our installer at like 3 in the morning bi-weekly. Okay.
And that could be set for any time, though, right?
It could be set for any time. At home, if I'm gonna load a bag of salt in, which I do, it's about once a month. It's about every 4 weeks. I'll put a bag in there, and then I'll usually manually generate it myself. There's a way that you could do that, but you don't have to do that. You could just let it do it itself.
What if someone has a well at their house and they want to, they're off the grid or whatever? Can this still be done for them?
Most definitely. There's a different unit that we have for well water, and it includes an extra tank. I'm trying to access my Adobe Cloud Storage right now to show you guys. But it includes an extra tank. So what it does is it gets rid of all the iron from the well water. That iron is the biggest problem that well water, people living with well water live with. And the well water systems, they are like $10 to $20 a month more expensive than the domestic units, but that's because it's a bigger unit. But once again, we do equip you guys with a Craftsman shed that we'll get at the nearest, Lowe's or Home Depot, and our installers will factor that into the monthly. So you don't have to worry about it being another expense or anything. We take care of that.
But how much time does it take to install? Once you got the appointment set up and things are ready to go, and you set the time, and I think both homeowners have to be there at that time?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
Both homeowners there.
Or at least when you're doing the credit report check.
For sure, yeah.
Well, if they're going to finance it.
I like when we have a meeting to see if we can get you guys approved, or any of the frequently asked questions. We'll go over them and whatnot and see what range we could get you guys at monthly. What makes it easiest is if both decision makers will be present, so we can figure out, so I can, or any of us can clarify any questions that might be present from you all, or also who would want to be applying for the financing, right? We do take cash deals too, right? But the financing is what 97% of people do in this, because the monthly is just so reasonable, right?
I think you said it was like 99, or it could even be a little higher depending on the system, like 120.
Depending, yeah, depending on the system, and if it's more of a risk, it tends to be more high. But we do honor veterans, we honor people in the healthcare and in the education space. We honor that. So by each of those, that automatically knocks $10 off from the approved rating that we're approved monthly that we're able to do with the financing. Now for the installation, to answer your question, Paul, it takes just about 3 hours for the drinking system to be installed, plus the whole house system.
And that's a bigger system than that, right? So
absolutely.
How tall would it be, if on the ground compared to yourself? How high would that be up?
Cool. So let me show you the most recent one that we installed. One moment, folks. So it's about 5 feet tall. Okay. So this is what they look like now. They used to be blue. Okay. So zoom in on that. This is the Maytag APR unit. Okay. So this is the outdoor unit, or the one that goes in the garage before the boiler.
Okay. And is that a shed or something? Or?
That is a shed. So in this instance, this was Mr. Nieves. He's actually a couple miles down the road here. Okay. We took care of him recently. He got the Craftsman shed installed with his approval because it had to be outside. The way that the plumbing was rigged and whatnot, we did that. So we factored that into it, and we were able to take care of him. And his installation took like 3 hours and 15 minutes.
How much did it cost the day of the installation?
Nothing. There's no installation costs. There's no down payments. First payment doesn't kick in to 30 to 45 days after the installation. Approval happens super fast. As long as we have all the proper information put, we would approve it with identification and run it through our main financing institution. We get instant approvals, whether you're being disapproved or approved, we'll know instantly, and then we could then check in on the windows of installation. So our installers, regardless of where they are, San Antonio, Houston, Texas, El Paso, and I think even New Mexico, we could do stuff like that. Rio Grande, doesn't matter. Our installers are booked from 9 a.m. local time, noon local time, and 5 local time. It's like noon, one-ish local time. 3 times a day. So they're on it. They're professionals. They only work with us, with Maytag, and we're able to, take care of 3 people a day, 3 families a day in every area that we're working. So which is That's absolutely insane. So
yeah, we'll have a sign up in the description below.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yeah, we'll have all the information in the description below to, you know, go ahead and, you know, book a call, inquire on more information, and see what we could improve you guys at, because everybody wants clean water, right? You want clean water? Exactly. And the beautiful thing about that is that if you value the purification of water or how clean it is, you know, in space and in the domestic sector, I mean, you're aligned with where we're at right now in humanity. You're helping yourselves and you're helping the future, which we are obviously a part of.
One of the cool things you showed me was like washing the hands and putting, I don't know if we're going to do that now, but if you wash your hands in the one water and then in the other, the one with the tap water is kind of a dry feeling and it'll clog your pores kind of thing.
That's exactly right.
And the purified or cleaned water, higher, you know, is like smooth and whatever else, you know. So that's kind of a big, if you go take a shower or something, you want kind of like a silky feeling rather than a dry, clogged feeling. You know? For
sure, yeah. So I don't know if you all have ever stayed at a Marriott or Holiday Inn or any other of the other nicer end hotels. They almost all have water treatment systems like what we're talking about. And I remember my last time I stayed at a Marriott, I went to Houston, Texas with my father. And I was so thirsty, we forgot to pick up bottled water, right, at the store. Yeah, I'll drink bottled water in a pinch, but I prefer to drink it fresh, right, alkaline water. And in the middle of the night, I was so dehydrated. We did have a few drinks, and they were stronger than I thought, right? And I was so desperate, then my eyes opened, like glass shattering, and I jumped up. And I remember we were in a Marriott, so it had purified water in the entire place. I got the plastic cup by the bed, and I just poured straight from the tap, and I drank, and it tasted pretty all right. But about the feeling, yeah, when I showered in the water, I showered at home, right? It's all purified water. That silky feeling, you're getting that. It's the absence of this, all of the hardness in the water and the chlorine. So you're able to get your body's natural oils to come out.
Do you have like industrial or commercial sized units of this, or?
We could work with that right now. Quadio isn't working with that. We could find who to pinpoint you to if you need a commercial unit.
Like a hotel or something? Yeah,
for a hotel system or even a restaurant or whatnot. We have some other partners that we could direct you to. Just go ahead and you know, book a call with us in the description below. Shoot us an email, message. All that information is going to be in the description below.
Because if they had a restaurant and their water tastes better and their food tastes better, that would be a big thing, right?
Correct. You need less salt in your food, less spices.
The taste of your food.
Everything is preserved. A lot of the people that are smart that have restaurants, they have true filtration systems put in. Like Chick-fil-A, for example. Chick-fil-A, they have all the best filtration. I actually met the gentleman that's in charge of all the filtration for Chick-fil-A a couple years ago. I did a water test at his house, go figure. He, very, very, very awesome gentleman. So he obviously already had something, but we hung out and befriended him and stuff. But yeah, and really guys, what this really goes to show is the cleaner the water is, the cleaner the result with everything is. So the livelihood of ourselves and the overall well-being of the house. You know, you're able to preserve your real estate investment. And if you've already had your house for a few years or the house is already older and you just moved in, it's never a bad idea to get a whole treatment system, because the moment that you get that installed, you're going to not be adding buildup to your pipes anymore. You're going to normalize that water pressure, lock that in, and you're going to save all your water-bearing appliances and on your soaps. As you saw, you're going to, instead of $100, if you're spending $100, it's going to be more like 10, 20. You need very little product for a big result. That result is actually going to be the ideal result anyway.
Cool. Are there any other tests that you got, or is that about it? I think
that's about it. We're able to go over everything, yeah.
Cool.
But awesome, guys. Hey, congrats to yourselves for taking the time to learn about domestic water quality and filtration options. We'd be more than happy to take care of you guys. And because of our financing, we're able to approve just about every person that talks to us. So if you've already been thinking about it, or if this is pretty shocking and you're disgusted with what you found, this is the case for, I would say, most people in Texas, this kind of water quality. go ahead and follow all the information in the description, and go ahead and book everything so we can get you taken care of as soon as possible, okay? Thanks a lot for your time. Rafael Molina, founder of Aquario Pure Water. Happy to marry space filtration with domestic. Thanks again, water nerds. So we just wrapped up a water test talking about the importance of domestic water filtration, especially where we're at geographically here in the Rio Grande Valley. So this is what 30 drops of a detergent did with hard water, and this is what 3 drops did with the same volume, 100 mils. So it just goes to show, so we're spending at least 10 times more on soap than we should be spending because of the hard water that we have here. I tested the chlorine levels too. It's already dissipated a bit, but it was around here on a pool testing kit, which is ideal for a swimming pool. That's how much chlorine is in our municipal water here in the Rio Grande Valley.
So there's chlorine in it. Is that what we found?
A lot of chlorine, okay. Yes. Okay. And then we tested the drinking water that you're living with, which is what we offer with Aquario and Maytag. This is an alkaline drinking system, and sure enough, it's alkaline water. It's more around the 9.0 in the pH scale. And filtered water through the 2-stage process. It's clean like that. Just a little tiny bit of trace minerals. This is very normal, right? But this is what we're up against. 19 grains per gallon. This is 19 times harder than the water that would go through here, meaning 19 times quicker you will have to deal with replacing your water fixtures and stuff like that. That's usually how you can calculate it. Now, to get the parts per million, you multiply that by 17. So 19 times 17. Sure, a lot of us more, let's see. So that's around, 323, right, ppms. However, that doesn't mean that that's going to affect us in the short term. It really goes to show that in the long term, we're going to be dealing with having to change out our water fixtures, our washer machine, shower heads. Paul, you just changed yours out, actually. Right. It basically clogged up for good. It's because he's living with 19 grains per gallon, right? Not his fault. It's just what he's subjected to right now. But I'm going to go over something right here. Just like some bonus content. I'm going to show you the...
We'll cut it and we'll start
okay. Okay. So another thing to go over is, remember, whole home water purification, you want to look about it as the cost of inactivity. How long are you going to be paying the cost of living with bad tap water until you do something about it? Instead of it being a return on investment kind of frame to think about it, it's a COI. So I'm going to show you practically.
And maybe just run through real quick some of the results that we found.
Yeah. So the reason why we're going to go over all this is because we found 19 grains per gallon here. Grains is how to find out how much hardness is in the water. You multiply that by 17. Look at that. You multiply that by 17 and then you find the ppm. So here it's a little over 300, right? Ideal water is 20, 30, right? Safe water is definitely on the lower end.
That versus this?
This is, yeah, so this is 1 grain per gallon. It's about like 20,
okay.
20 ppms.
And grains per gallon, that's like the accumulated rock that would go through your system over a year's time or something, right?
Absolutely. If I were to calculate it, most people here in the Rio Grande specifically, they're seeing about half a pound of rock going through their entire house daily.
Every day, wow.
On average, because you factor into the amount of gallons that they're bathing with, or they're washing their clothes with.
So that's all kind of sediment, not just quartz or whatever. It's everything.
All kinds. Okay. That's the general hardness. Yeah.
And then we had chlorine here.
It's already dissipated because chlorine dissipates over time. But when we did it, it was already right here at a 5. So that's pool water quality.
And then the soap thing. What are the results of that? We're like a half hour later now.
Yeah, this is an hour later, and look at the bubbles are still there. So this right here, 3 drops of a laboratory grade detergent, and then this is 30 drops of a laboratory grade detergent, but with tap water. This is filtered tap water. Look at the difference, right? So it really goes to show when you filter the water, it filters or cleans everything in your lifestyle, right? Not even lifestyle, your livelihood. I'm sorry for using that word. Now, I do want to focus in on the practical aspect of clean water. So water heaters typically last 5 to 7 years when there's hard water. We are seeing that there's hard water here, right? The 30-year damage plan. When you get a home, you go over your 30-year mortgage plan. This is your 30-year damage plan. So every 5 to 7 years, you need to replace the water heater, right? That's like, let's say $800,000. We'll just put $1,000, right? Your fixtures, every couple years, 3 years, you need to change your fixtures when you have hard water. So that's easily $200, right? So fixtures, that's 200. Let's just say that. Your washer machine, that is $1,500 easily, right? And this is not even inflation included into here. So this is washer. Now dishwasher, let's just say 800, right? Dishwasher. What other water bring appliances you can think of? These are the main ones, right?
Yeah.
So let's just add all this up. Remember, that's every 5 years, okay? So 1,000.
So you got the washer. What else?
The dishwasher. The fixtures, the water heater.
Yeah, water heater. That's a big one.
That's a big one for sure. So that, and then plus 1,500 plus 800. Multiply that by 6. That's $21K.
Oh wow, $21,000.
$21,000.
How'd you get that number? Maybe talk about.
So this is changing them out every 5 years, which is
okay.
Normalcy for dealing with hard water,
what
right?
Is it every 5 years? What does that come out to?
Every 5 years. This is the every 5 years.
Okay.
So 1,000, 200, 15, 800.
What's the total of that?
Times 6. Well, the total of that is 3,500.
3,500
so
times.
3,500 times 6. That's your 30-year damages.
Okay.
In 30 years, most homes that don't get the super high-end stuff. You're seeing that. Oh, you know what? Refrigerators.
Okay.
That's another thing.
So
let's do the fridge.
$21,000 in value already over 30 years.
Yeah, let's do the fridge. So a new fridge is what? A decent one, like $1,500?
At least $500.
At least $500, but if it has a water connection,
sure,
it's decent.
Yep.
You're looking at least $1K now. So let's do the $1K. Let's do that. So that's $4,500 instead, right?
Yep.
So 45 and then times the 6, not including inflation. That's $27K, man.
Okay, right.
Of damages.
For everything.
$27,000 of damages, right?
Per house.
Per house. This is in a 30-year damage plan. Granted, this is super variable, right? But this gives you a general idea. You're going to be paying for hard water one way or another, whether it's to fix it and preserve your real estate investment and your health, or to just deal with the repercussions. It's not even including changing plumbing and stuff like that. That's a whole other monster to talk about.
Right.
You're talking, 12, 15K to do that for a small little house, a 1,500 square foot house, right? So yeah, guys, this really goes to show that the cleaning the water is the cleaning result is with everything, and our livelihoods are truly changed.
And that's just the fixtures. You're not talking health or happiness, right?
I'm not talking about health.
Feel every day.
Yeah, not even your dandruff or your skin creams that you got to put on, your lotions. These are all things that you're paying for through ignorance, but you're not ignorant anymore because you have the knowledge to help yourself.
And too, right?
And the kids
you
too.
Some kids,
yeah.
You want them to have the best childhood and grow up and everything. Be grow into great people and be happy. Kids
and be happy.
Yeah, cool. All right, cool.
If this has piqued your interest and you're genuinely concerned about your water quality and already know you want to do something about it or see how we can help, go ahead and check the description below. It's going to have a link and other information to contact us so we can see where our service team could help you with Maytag and either get a water demonstration out there with one of our guys or simply just book a call with us so we could talk about it, and we'll go over the water report with you, which is public information, and see what we could approve you at. In most cases, you're seeing a monthly installment of less than $100. So that's what we aim for. If it's more risk, obviously it's a little bit more expensive for us to help you guys, but all in all, we're already paying for having a water treatment system. We just don't have it, right? I do, because I know what's up with it, right? But yeah, guys, glad I get to elude, all this knowledge to you guys. If you got any questions, once again, description below. Book a call. I look forward to talking to you then.